This program is brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
More than 180 Iraqis were killed and dozens of others were wounded in a wave of bomb attacks that rocked the Iraqi capital. More than 82 Iraqis were killed in a single attack that targeted the Arabiya market in central Baghdad. In addition, nearly 30 Iraqis were killed in a booby-trapped car explosion near the city of Sadr. Also, dozens of Iraqis were killed in a separate bomb attack in the Qarada neighborhood in central Baghdad.
Booby-trapped cars, which are the deadliest weapon used in today's Iraq, were used in the attacks on Sadriya in central Baghdad. According to the Iraqi police, a booby-trapped car exploded on Kiefer Street near the Sadriya market, where a group of workers were waiting for transportation, killing and wounding dozens of Iraqis.
We came to the aid of the victims. More than 50 bodies were burned and torn into pieces. The number of injured victims was not as many.
هذا التفجير يأتي بعد أكثر من شهر من انفجار آخر وقع في المكان نفسه واستخدمت فيه شاحنة مفخخة بأكثر من طن من المتفجرات وأوقع حينها ما لا يقل عن 130 قتيلا.
Today's attack in Sadriya came nearly a month after the area was hit by another bomb attack. In that particular incident, a truck packed with nearly a ton of explosives detonated, killing more than 130 people. Meanwhile, a booby-trapped car exploded near an Iraqi security checkpoint near Sadriya city limit, killing several Iraqis, including some soldiers. The attack was carried out by a suicide bomber who rammed his booby-trapped car into the security checkpoint in Sadriya. Moreover, a booby-trapped car exploded near Abid Majid Medical Center near Qarada in central Baghdad, killing and wounding several Iraqis, including women and children. Furthermore, a roadside bomb exploded in the area of Rasafi, injuring several people and damaging a transportation vehicle. Meanwhile, backed by helicopters and military vehicles, the U.S. Army carried out an offensive in the area of Kama in northeastern Fallujah. According to the U.S. military, 5 armed men were killed and more than 30 others were detained. A large cache of explosives was also discovered hidden in several buildings in the area.
مقتل 5 مسلحين واعتقال 30 آخرين. وعثرت القوات الأمريكية على كمية من المتفجرات داخل عدة مبان في المنطقة. زين الفايز، العربية.
The Defense Ministry's media advisor, Mohammed Al-Askari, said that enforcing the rule of law security plan is working effectively. He added that it is a long-term plan and that some of the results will become more clear in the coming phase.
Al-Askari held a press conference today in Baghdad and said that the latest attacks will not affect the course of the security plan.
There has been a number of accomplishments as a result of the security plan, despite attempts to foil it, such as the deployment of explosions here and there. The security plan is a long-term plan, and its aim is to improve economic and public services, as well as the security situation. According to strategic experts, the security plan is working effectively at all levels.
The army commander in charge of implementing establishing the rule of law security plan, Aboud Kumbar, inspected a number of Iraqi areas to see how the security plan is being implemented.
Kumbar praised the security agencies in charge of implementing the security plan and their high performance in fulfilling their duties.
Aboud Kumbar is the army commander in charge of implementing establishing the rule of law security plan in a number of areas in Baghdad, including the Dura, which is one of the hot areas. Kumbar inspected several areas to see how the security plan is going in lieu of the new arrangements that were made to complement the establishing the rule of law security plan.
The objective of our visit today is to inspect the new arrangements that were designed to complement establishing the rule of law security plan. These new arrangements include the use of armory vehicles and machinery units.
Kumba praised the performance of these units and the Iraqi forces that have been exerting efforts to get these units ready quickly.
The performance of these units is pleasing. The pre-operational measures are almost over. God willing, these will be the combat units of the Iraqi forces in charge of military operations in Baghdad. The soldiers have high morale and work enthusiastically. All those in charge of these new units are proud Iraqis. They are making sure that these units are ready quickly so that they can be deployed to support the implementation of establishing the rule of law security plan.
All efforts are being made to support this security plan and ensure its success in establishing a secure, stable and united Iraq. Rem Ahmed, Al-Iraqiya Television, Baghdad.
Israel's foreign ministry spokesman Mark Regev denied an Egyptian allegation that Cairo has arrested the members of an espionage cell working on behalf of Israel. An Egyptian national security prosecutor confirmed that the members of a spying cell working for Israel have been arrested. The cell included an Egyptian engineer working for the country's nuclear energy agency and two foreigners, one who is Japanese and the other who is Irish.
The Court of National Security has made a shocking discovery after Egyptian authorities arrested a new spying cell working for Israel. According to a state security prosecutor, the spying cell includes Mohammed Sayyid Sabir, an Egyptian engineer working for the country's nuclear energy agency, and two foreigners. One is Japanese and the other is Irish. The two men tried to recruit Sabir to spy for Israel on Egypt's nuclear energy agency and its civilian nuclear program. Many military experts believe that the war between Israel and Egypt has not ended, despite the fact that the two countries have signed peace treaties.
There
are no peace treaties or ceasefire agreements between the two nations. Egypt and Israel have engaged in what is called a silent war or deep black covert operation. This silent war is only noticed by those working for security and law enforcement agencies.
Meanwhile, some Egyptian politicians who strongly oppose normalizing their country's relationship with Israel said that this espionage case proves that Israel cannot be trusted, and therefore Egypt should not have established a relationship with Tel Aviv. Egypt has uncovered more than 20 espionage cases during the past 25 years.
Israel recruited secret agents to gather intelligence, information, and to spy on Egypt's strategic installations and the civilian nuclear energy program. Therefore, it wasn't coincidence that we have uncovered several espionage cells in a relatively short period of time.
After hearing the charges from the district attorney's office and the opinions of political and military experts, we headed to Sabir's home. We talked to his neighbors who have a different opinion than the one we heard.
We saw Sabir 3 or 4 times in the past year. He always conducted himself in a polite way. He's a good man. That's it. He also has a good family, and we never had any problems with them.
Sabir's family declined to talk to us before the camera, but said that he was innocent. Hajja, do you think your son is innocent?
Of course he is innocent. He was raised very well. Everyone around here can vouch for him. All those who know him say that he's a good and decent man. He's also well educated.
وبين هذا الرأي وذاك يبقى الحكم معلقا في انتظار.
Amidst these mixed reactions and different opinions, the judicial system has the last say on this matter. The number of spy agents during times of peace may be more than during times of war, and possibly more dangerous as well. The Court of National Security will soon decide the fate of the 3 suspects involved in this latest espionage case.
سمير عمر، الجزيرة، القاهرة.
Regional news, Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad today vowed that Iran's armed forces would cut off the hand of any enemy that launched an attack. His comments came as the hardline Islamic country celebrated Army Day. During a large-scale military parade, Ahmadinejad said Iran's armed forces must be more ready with each passing day, and he added that UN sanctions against Tehran would fail to weaken the Iranian military. Noticeably absent from the parade was any sign of Iran's long-range ballistic missiles.
Israel and Iran should be strategic partners and not bitter enemies. This according to Iranian publisher Amir Taheri, former editor-in-chief of Kayan, Iran's largest newspaper. Taheri, who is considered one of the world's leading experts on Iran, told IBA's Dan Diker that the hardline Islamic Republic and not the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is the main cause of instability in the Middle East.
Where is the source of those weapons? Is it Iran or Syria? Is there some confusion out there?
No, there is no confusion because Syria does not have this type of weapons industry. These are manufactured in the Islamic Republic, and then they are passed on to Syria. And for the purpose of plausible deniability, they try to fudge the issue and make it difficult for people to verify for whom these weapons were intended.
In Israel, there is a debate here that perhaps Israel should advance a diplomatic process between itself and the Palestinians, and that would in some way create a more stable environment in the Middle East. How do you see Israel's role in this conflict? Is it possible to advance Israel's diplomatic interests before Iran is in some way taken care of?
I don't really see the connection because the real issue in the Middle East now is the clash between 2 visions of the Middle East, one coming from the Islamic Republic and the other one from the United States and its allies, whether the Middle East will become a democratic, pluralist, capitalist part of the global system, or whether it will become an Islamist, Khomeinist, radical, militant zone of hostility to the modern world. So the Palestinian issue is, in this context, is really neither here nor there. I know everybody tends to think that the Palestinian issue is the most important issue on earth and under the sun, and I don't think it is. It is subsidiary to the bigger fight that is going on in the Middle East.
From your point of view, sir, what's the one major, what is the bottom line for Israel to understand about Iran?
That in an Iranian-dominated Middle East, there is no place for Israel in it. That is what they must understand.
Meanwhile, the Shin Bet Internal Security Service said it wants all Israelis banned from traveling to Iran. This following yesterday's disclosure of the arrest of an Israeli man who was recruited by Iranian intelligence to spy on Israel. IBA's Eli Wagalanter spoke to Iranian expert Menashe Amir, who said he was not surprised by the whole affair.
No, of course not. It doesn't surprise me because Iran, like any other country, tries to gather information about the enemy countries, and Israel is considered as the enemy of Iran. So I knew, and anybody knows, that Iran tried to gather information in any possible means, not only by Palestinians who have Israeli passport or Israeli ID, and they come and they can come easily inside the country and gather information, but also through the Israeli Arabs who had some information or some contact with the Israeli important institutions. And lately, in the last 2-3 years, in fact, since Khatami was in power in Iran, they tried to recruit also the Israelis from Iranian origin.
Why is this story coming out now that we're suddenly learning about something that's been going on for so long?
I think that Shabak decided that there have been so many cases that Israel has to warn the Israelis from the Iranian origin not to go to Iran, and because there is still a law who prevents them to go to Iran, so Shabak uses the Israeli mass media to warn them and to inform them that it's not good to go there.
Is Iran trying to recruit spies because they're thinking of attacking Israel, or because they're afraid that Israel will attack them with or without America?
I would say both. Iran is trying to attack Israel through Hezbollah in Lebanon and through Hamas and the Islamic Jihad in the Palestinian land. And they want to know what are the sensible Israeli targets, and also for sabotage and terrorist actions inside Israel. And also they want to know anything about Israel in the case that Israel will join the United States for any optional military attack against the Iranian nuclear installations.
Is an attack by America and Israel on Iran conceivable in the near future?
If you ask the Iranians this question, they say yes, a big yes, because they are very much afraid that in the next summer the United States, maybe through the help of the Israelis, will attack the Iranian nuclear installations. And this is a real concern inside Iran today. And then that's also one of the reasons that they try to gather any kind of information about Israel.
How does this whole episode affect the Iranian Jewish community today?
I hope that it will not damage the Iranians, Jews inside Iran. They have been so-called protected by the regime, but you know and I know that there have been many cases of harassment and limitation of the Jews inside Iran. I hope that it will not have any impact, negative impact upon them.
The Palestinian sufferings continue to increase amidst a state of paralysis of the municipalities in the Gaza Strip as a result of the international boycott of the Palestinian people. Municipalities have been unable to carry out their responsibilities or pay their employees for the 7th consecutive month.
After the employees of the municipalities of the Gaza Strip flooded the streets with their cars and held a strike to draw attention of their officials to their deteriorating humanitarian conditions, a new phase began, marked by a complete workers' strike in all branches of the municipality and service sectors, thus increasing the suffering of the Palestinian people. They have not been paid their salaries for the 7th consecutive month.
We are on a strike because we want our salaries. We and our families want to live like everyone else.
We haven't been paid for 7 months. We know very well, of course, that the main cause for this is the Israeli boycott that is imposed on all the Palestinian people.
The financial and political boycott of the Palestinian people, the lack of any aid to the municipalities, as well as the Palestinian Authority's inability to pay its employees their salaries, have all led to a state of economic stagnation and paralysis. Meanwhile, municipalities are failing to carry out their responsibilities towards the Palestinian people.
We were forced to hold a strike because our lives have become intolerable. Most of the employees do not have enough money to pay for their daily transportation to get to work. So we were forced to hold this strike so that the government and the executive branch listen to our voices and pay attention to us. The entire world should also pay attention. We especially appeal to all Arab and European countries to work towards ending the boycott on the Palestinian people, as we fear that diseases will spread and lead lead to an environmental and health catastrophe.
Palestinian citizens who have been severely devastated by the continued boycott have begun to raise their cries for help to the Palestinian government and the Arab countries. They are calling for them to pay attention to the impending environment and health dangers and are demanding that they work quickly to lift the boycott.
All this garbage needs to be entirely removed from this area. It is a breeding ground for disease that affects children and everyone.
The economic situation is very bad. Sanitation employees must be paid so the garbage can be disposed of. The Arabs must help us toward ending the boycott on the Palestinian people.
The Zionist and international boycott of the Palestinian people continues to have dangerous implications at the political, economic, and social levels. The boycott also threatens the environment and health of the Palestinians, who are appealing to the world to take responsibility and do something quickly before a catastrophe impacts all aspects of Palestinians' lives.
Iran marked the National Army Day on Wednesday as the select units hit parade grounds across the nation in a magnificent show of resolve and preparedness to defend their homeland in the face of enemy threats. In the capital, Tehran, the Army Day parade was held outside the mausoleum of the founding father of the Islamic Revolution, Imam Khomeini. Addressing the ceremony, which was also attended by top Iranian Army and Revolution Guards Corps commanders, as well as Tehran-based military attachés, President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said the Iranian army is defensive in nature and not offensive. He underlined that the army personnel are fully prepared to carry out any mission in preserving their national sovereignty and will put their lives on the line to stand up to the aggressors. Parliament Speaker Ghulam Ali Haddad Adel expressed regret over the bloodbath at the Virginia Tech University, which claimed the lives of dozens of innocent students. Addressing today's session of the Parliament, Haddad Adel said, quote, "If the U.S. President George W. Bush has power, he would better use it to establish security and freedom in his own country." He asked, at a time when the U.S. invaded other nations under pretext of establishing security and freedom, what measures should be adopted about insecurity inside the U.S. to reduce or prevent such tragic and painful events? A gunman opened fire on classrooms at Virginia Tech University Monday morning, killing 33. Despite killings of dozens of innocent people all around the U.S. every year, there is no sign that politicians are ready to rush into calls for taking action to bring gun sales under control. Latest statistics indicate that 40% of American households own a gun and some 200 million weapons are in private hands. Experts say the current system makes it easy for criminals and even juveniles to buy as many guns as they want at gun shows, including assault weapons. Here are viewpoints by American citizens in New York on the Virginia Tech University tragedy.
Very sad, very upsetting, and you can't imagine it.
It was badly handled.
Who is responsible about that?
More people could have been saved, more children, between the time that lapsed.
Yeah. It's a horrible thing. I mean, I can't believe that that happened. Well, I think that we need to definitely take a step back and look at the gun control issue.
No, they shouldn't be having guns on campus at all. Okay?
Thank you.
I definitely think we need laws restricting it, but I don't think that's the only answer.
Iraq's Industry and Minerals Minister, Fawzi Hariri, met with the governors of Anbar and Misan provinces to discuss ways to promote local, regional, and foreign investments in the country. Ali Ramadan has the details in the following report.
Iraq's Industry and Minerals Minister, Fawzi al-Hariri, said that it is very important for the Iraqi market to reopen its doors to local, regional, and foreign investment, provided that any business venture protects the financial future of national companies and brings lucrative returns to the country's economy. Foreign companies are encouraged to invest in Iraqi market by signing short-term business contracts ranging between 10 and 15 years. Several Iraqi governors and representatives of various provinces, including Anbar and Misan, held a session to discuss ways to help revive the country's ailing economy.
Any local or foreign investment must generate profits for the province. The money will be reinvested in the province in order to lift part of the burden imposed on the central government.
Adil Bahdali, the governor of Misan province, discussed some of the problems facing his governorate.
First, one of the main problems facing local institutions in the province is the high level of unemployment. Second, we have a shortage in primary materials and equipment, which are important in the manufacturing industry.
Iraq's Industry and Minerals Minister confirmed that investment in the Iraqi market is not an easy process because it requires investors to comply with a certain mechanism and follow strict rules and regulations.
In coordination with the various provincial councils, we adopted a new plan for work, which will help promote investment in Iraq, which may bring profits to us.
قناة السومرية الفضائية علي رمضان.
Polygamy is permitted according to Islamic law. Some men do not practice it due to economic reasons, or they may be satisfied with one wife. LBC TV toured the malls of Riyadh and surveyed the opinions of Saudi men and women. Here is the report.
Polygamy is a controversial topic. Men and women equally have many different understandings, thoughts, and personal reactions to the issue. Everyone has their own opinions, as well as sensitivities regarding marriage and polygamy, especially husbands, many of whom support having multiple wives.
If you are not satisfied with your wife, then it is okay.
Having multiple wives is good in all its aspects.
I support having another wife. Yes, it's good. If the first one gets upset, I will go to the second one, who will welcome me. If the second one gets upset, I will go to the third wife. If the fourth wife gets upset, I will go to the fifth wife. It is better for them and for me.
If a wife is good to you and nice, it is difficult to marry a second or third wife, but men are never satisfied with anything.
Having multiple wives is permitted by God and Islamic law. However, today, no man can treat his wives equally and justly. A person's life situation does not allow him to be just.
Of course, I'm against polygamy. One wife is enough.
When asked about polygamy, women believe that it is acceptable if there is a problem with the wife or if the wife cannot fulfill her responsibilities towards her husband.
My opinion, honestly, is if I did something wrong or if I failed in my responsibilities towards him as a wife, then it's okay. I've made a mistake. But a person can correct her mistakes so that she can have a good family life. A husband and a wife relationship is different from a relationship of a husband and many wives. Trust me, men can't be equal or just towards the wives. In today's time, there's no equality.
If there is nothing wrong with me or him, then there is no need for another wife. But if I have a problem, like I can't have children, then it is acceptable. He has the freedom to do this. But if I have fulfilled my responsibilities towards him, then why should he marry someone else?
He can marry another woman, but if I fulfill my responsibilities, then he shouldn't.
Social acceptance of polygamy in Saudi society fluctuates between tolerance of this phenomena and partial acceptance in Arab societies.
The views expressed on Mosaic are those of the participating broadcasters, not Link TV or its sponsors. Please visit linktv.org/Mosaic for more information about these broadcasters or to view previous Mosaic programs, obtain program transcripts, or receive the weekly Mosaic Intelligence Report. Mosaic is made possible by a grant from the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation Additional support is provided by the Firedoll Foundation, the Otto Haas Charitable Trust, and by committed Link TV viewers like you. If you value this program, please send your tax-deductible contribution to Link TV, either through the website or the mailing address listed on your screen. This program was brought to you by Link TV for educational and non-commercial use only. Link TV is the only U.S. television network devoted to global and national news, with uncompromising documentaries and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world.